Here are 7 Blender modeling tricks I use in pretty much every project, so let's get straight into it. Number 1. Vertex Snapping Setup. The first one is a quick setup change that's worth saving in your startup file. Open your snap settings, set the snap mode to vertex, then leave the magnet itself turned off, and save that as your default. The reason you leave it off is so snapping doesn't get in your way while you're modeling normally. Instead of everything constantly jumping to the nearest vertex, you keep it set up but inactive. When you actually want it, you just hold Ctrl while you move something and snapping turns on for that one action only. The useful part is combining that with an axis. Grab your object, press X to constrain it to the X-axis, then hold Ctrl. Now it only snaps along that axis to whatever vertex you hover over. So whenever you need one object lined up exactly with another, you constrain the axis, hold Ctrl, and snap to a vertex that's already in the right spot. No nudging, no eyeballing, and snapping stays out of your way the rest of the time. Number 2. Offset Edge Loop Cut. Next is a quicker way to add support loops. Most people use the standard loop cut, Ctrl-R, all the time, but sitting right next to it is Ctrl-Shift-R, the offset edge loop cut. Hover over an edge loop, click, and instead of one loop, it adds 2, one on each side of the edge, perfectly symmetrical. Move your mouse to set how tightly they sit against the edge, and scroll if you want more pairs. This is exactly what you want for holding edges under a subdivision surface modifier. Instead of placing 2 loops separately and trying to space them evenly, you get a clean, symmetric pair in a single action, and you can slide them in and out to control how sharp the edge looks while you watch it update. It's also handy anytime you just want a couple of evenly offset loops somewhere on a mesh. Number 3. Shift-R to repeat your last action. Since we're on loop cuts, this next one pairs with them well. Shift-R repeats your last action. Add one loop cut, tap Shift-R, and it adds another at the same spacing. Keep tapping and you get an evenly spaced set, consistent every time because it remembers the settings you used. It works for much more than loop cuts though, and that's the part people tend to miss. Duplicate an object and move it a set distance, then press Shift-R a few times and you've built an evenly spaced row by hand without touching the array modifier. Extrude a face by a certain amount, press Shift-R, and you get the same extrusion again. It's a small shortcut, but once it's muscle memory, you'll use it constantly throughout a project. Number 4. Select Similar. The next 2 tricks are about selecting geometry faster because that's where a lot of modeling time quietly disappears. The first is Select Similar. Click one face, press G, and you get a menu of traits: area, normal, number of sides, material, and others. Pick one and Blender selects everything that matches. So you can click a single panel, choose area, and have every same sized panel selected at once, ready to bevel or inset together. If it selects too much or too little, there's a threshold in the bottom left you can adjust. Number 5. Grow and shrink your selection. The 5th trick works hand in hand with that one. Once you've got something selected, Ctrl and Numpad Plus grows the selection outward by one ring of geometry at a time, and Ctrl Numpad Minus shrinks it back in. It's a simple thing, but it changes how you select a region. Instead of carefully box selecting an area and then deselecting whatever you caught by accident, you click one face in the middle of where you want and grow the selection outward until it covers exactly the area you need. If you're on a laptop without a numpad, the same options are in the Select menu as Select More and Select Less. Combine growing and shrinking with Select Similar from a moment ago, and you can build fairly complex selections in just a few seconds. Those all speed up the modeling, but the moment a project grows into multiple shots, each with its own camera, frame range, and render settings, Blender gives you no real way to manage it. The tool that solves this is Shot Manager, who sponsored this video. At its core, it's the override system Blender is missing. You build a shot list and every shot holds its own camera, frame range, view layers, and output path. A default shot stores your base settings, and each shot only overrides what it needs: the render engine, samples, resolution, even swapping out materials or entire objects per shot. Anything you leave alone inherits the default, so changing one setting can ripple across every shot at once. That's the management side. Real oversight and mass control over an entire project from a single list. Output paths are built automatically from your shot names and fully customizable. View layer switch per shot so the right objects turn on for the right camera. And when you're ready, you select your shots and batch render the whole list on a render farm with Flamenco or Deadline, or locally with SM-Render or B-Renderon. There's even a node-based system for wrangling render passes, plus rules and macros for the more complex setups. And this gets used on real productions, element passes on the Netflix film Train Dreams, and all 52 shots of the Shin Ultra Fight remake. There's a free light version you can start with today, and Pro unlocks the batch rendering, nodes, and export tools. If you're working on anything with more than a couple of shots, this is the layer Blender's been missing. The link and more info are in the description. Right, back to it. 2 tricks to go. Number 6. Proportional editing, connected only. You've probably used proportional editing already. Press O, move a vertex, and the geometry around it follows in a smooth fall-off, which is great for organic shapes. The downside is that the fall-off affects everything within its radius, including the opposite side of your mesh or separate parts sitting nearby. The fix is one shortcut, Alt-O, which toggles connected only. With it on, the fall-off only affects geometry that's actually connected to what you're moving, so you can pull a soft bump out of the top of a surface without the bottom coming up with it, and shape one area while everything around it stays put. Same smooth editing, just limited to the part you're working on. Scroll to set the radius, and you're good. Number 7. Individual origins. Last one, and it's the most satisfying. By default, when you scale or rotate a group of selected objects, they all move around one shared center so they either clump together or spread apart. To change that, press the period key for the pivot menu and choose Individual Origins. Now do the same thing. Scale and every other object scales around its own center, staying in place. Rotate and each one spins on its own origin. You can select 50 bolts and shrink every one of them at once without knocking them out of position, or rotate every panel on a model in a single move. And it works in edit mode too, on separate islands of faces within one mesh. Once you've used it, you'll reach for it on anything with repeated parts. Just quickly, I've put together all of the Blender tips you've seen in this video, plus 100 more in my Blender ebook. The link will be in the description. Enjoy!